Welcome to the Creation Centers. This is a creation science ministry that presents scientific evidence that evolution is not true. And the reason, if evolution's not true, then there has to be a God who is real. But whatever level of uncertainty that people have that evolution might be true is the same level of uncertainty that they may think God may not exist. But being absolutely convinced and sure that that evolution isn't true is the same as being absolutely convinced that there is a God, that there is a God who created you, loves you, wants to spend eternity with you in a heaven that is real. So by looking at scientific evidence, this is not an emotional topic, reading evidence has the outcome of a spiritual event of certainty in God. Now some people believe in both, that evolution used, that God used evolution as a tool to create man. So we present that with the written materials and the videos on Noah's flood and theistic evolution. But the topics of creation science is showing that evolution isn't true. We've been doing this for many years by presenting individual topics and showing that it couldn't be a result of evolution. Like one requirement of evolution is there can only be one change at a time, and intelligent design shows that you can't create complex things that exist with this requirement of one step at a time. So many people believe in God only by looking at intelligent design and realizing that evolution can't be true because of the intelligent design concept. There's another requirement of evolution where everything has to be the result of random chance, mistakes and events. But when you look at DNA, a random chance mistake in DNA is a DNA mutation, and DNA mutations make things worse, not better. So many people are convinced that God is real because they realize that evolution can't be true because of DNA mutations. But there's such a vastness in the materials of creation science that what is needed and what is new here is a logical framework to present all of this information that is easy to understand for everybody. We use the concept of sequences, which is the challenge of logic and probability to evolution. And through this we show that for evolution to be true, it would have to be the outcome of a sequence of events, not just a single line of events. It would be branches, but everything would have to have something that came before it that leads to something later, which is a sequence. And we all understand sequences. It's like dominoes. To complete a sequence of dominoes, they would all have to be positioned correctly, and they would all have to fall and knock each other over. So we can look at evolution as a sequence of events that begins with the Big Bang. Then you have galaxies and solar systems and planets. Then you have life and then atmospheres, and life becomes more complex. And eventually you end up with the highest level of complexity of all of existence, all of creation, which is the human brain. But to complete a sequence, they all have to fall. So, but if there's one thing, anything, that isn't in line, or anything that exists that could not exist through evolution, then evolution's impossible because you can't complete a sequence unless everything happens. So evolution, to be true, has to be able to explain everything, but they haven't been able to explain anything. So in the book and the website and the facility, we divide these scientific topics into life sciences and physical sciences, and there's individual topics like intelligent design and age of the earth. And for each of these, there's a short introductory video, just 1 to 5 minutes, and then there's written material, which we encourage you to read, that's written at a level that everybody can understand. There's further study for people that are particularly interested. But for each of these, we show that evolutionists have not been able to explain how a single thing in all of existence came to exist through evolution. And we do this by going to the scientific journals. When the evolutionists are discussing things among themselves on how they think something may have come into existence through evolution, they publish it in their scientific journals, which are on the National Library of Medicine, which is far more than medicine. It's every aspect of science. Chemistry, biology, physics, all of science is published, and we can read their journals. And what it shows, and we quote and reference on every single topic, is that the evolutionists cannot explain the details of how something came to exist through evolution. Not one thing. They would need to explain everything. They haven't explained anything. That would be required for evolution to be true, but to be convinced evolution is not true, we only need to be certain that there is anything, any one thing, in all of existence that couldn't exist through evolution, and that's enough to logically conclude that evolution can't possibly be true because of this sequence. So look at all of these topics. Some of you may be interested in, many you may have never heard of before, but they're all things that God created, incredibly interesting, complex, and beautiful, and each topic is independent. So before you begin the topical studies, one last thing you should start with is the video on natural selection. Many people confuse evolution and natural selection, and understanding what evolution is and isn't is needed to be able to start thinking about whether we believe if evolution is true or not. So please enjoy the videos, the written material, and thank you for visiting the Creation Centers.